Hey there again, and welcome back to our channel, where we don't just talk about psychology and relationships. We dive deep into the secret world behind human attraction, emotions, and connection. If you're new here, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon, because the content we're building is meant to transform how you understand women and yourself. Music Today's video explores a topic that not only sparks curiosity, but often leaves men wondering, how do you actually know when a woman is physically aroused? And more specifically, what does it really mean when she's wet? Let's be honest, female arousal has long been portrayed as mysterious, unpredictable, and even confusing. But here's the truth, it's not just a random reaction, it's an incredibly sophisticated process. One shaped by biology, psychology, emotional safety, and trust. So today we're going to break down the 5 clear signs that indicate a girl is physically aroused, not just guesses, not wishful thinking, but real research-backed, biologically driven signs that tell you something powerful is happening beneath the surface. But before we get into those signs, let's take a moment to truly understand what's going on inside her body and mind when arousal takes place. The hidden science of female arousal. Physical arousal in women, often described as being wet, is not just about the body preparing for intimacy. It's a multi-faceted experience involving an elegant dance of hormones, emotions, and nerve responses. When a woman is aroused, her brain releases powerful chemicals like oxytocin, known as the love hormone, and dopamine, the chemical of reward and pleasure. These hormones increase blood flow, heighten nerve sensitivity, and begin to prepare her body for intimacy, not just physically, but emotionally too. It's not like flipping a switch. Arousal in women is contextual. It depends on how safe she feels, how seen she feels, how emotionally connected she feels to the man in front of her. In fact, research from the Kinsey Institute and other sexual health centers shows that for many women, arousal is just as much about the brain as it is about the body. That means being physically close isn't enough. You need to reach her mind before you ever reach her body. And that's why learning these signs matters, because they help you tune in, not just to her body, but to her emotions, her energy, and her comfort. So let's dive in. Sign Mugger 1, body language. The unspoken signals of desire. Let's talk body language. It's her first language of attraction, spoken long before any words are said. When a woman is physically aroused, she often doesn't even realize the signal she's sending. Her posture changes, her energy shifts. Her body begins to mirror what she's feeling inside. One of the most powerful indicators is when she starts to lean in closer. During conversation, this isn't just about being polite or interested. Leaning in is her body's way of seeking your presence. Warmth and energy. She wants to be physically near you because emotional closeness is stirring something deeper in her. Another big clue, prolonged eye contact, not just glancing your way, but lingering, holding that gaze a second or two longer than normal. That kind of eye contact creates a powerful sense of trust and anticipation. It draws you both into a quiet, invisible tension that can feel incredibly intimate. Now watch closely for these micro movements. Is she touching her hair more than usual? That's often a subconscious way of drawing attention to herself, of presenting herself as attractive. Is she biting or touching her lips? That's often a subtle signal of sensual thinking. The lips are incredibly sensitive, and when she draws attention to them, she might not even know she's signaling interest in something more. She might also mirror your body language. If you lean in, she leans in. If you cross your legs, she does the same. This behavior is called mirroring, and it's a deeply rooted neurological sign of connection and chemistry. Even more, uncrossed arms, open gestures, and facing you directly are all indicators that she's emotionally open and receptive. She's not just being nice. She's letting her guard down, and that speaks volumes now that we've decoded body language. Let's move to something more subtle but incredibly telling sign. Burker 2, flushed skin. The physical manifestation of excitement. When a girl is physically aroused, her body undergoes a fascinating internal transformation that often appears right on the surface of her skin. Here's what's happening inside. As her heart rate increases and her body responds to emotional and physical stimuli, blood flow is redirected toward areas like the face, neck, chest, and even her ears. This rush of blood causes her skin to appear more flushed, warm, or slightly red, especially across her cheeks and upper chest. It's not just biology, it's biology. Broadcasting desire, that natural pink glow, isn't something she can fake. It's involuntary, it's raw, it's real, and it often occurs when she's emotionally engaged or feeling vulnerable excitement in your presence. Now picture this. You're sharing a flirtatious moment, maybe laughing over a joke only the two of you seem to get. Her skin starts to flush, subtly glowing. That's not embarrassment. That's not random. That's her body reacting to emotional stimulation, to the closeness, the chemistry. But it's more than just a visual cue. It's magnetic flush skin, signals vitality and emotional openness, and it can heighten attraction dramatically. Our brains are wired to perceive flush as beauty. This is deeply embedded in human evolution. In fact, studies from Harvard and other institutes have found that subtle redness in facial skin is often perceived as more attractive by both sexes. It signals health energy and sexual readiness. Of course, not all women show this sign the same way. Skin tone sensitivity and natural tendencies vary. Some women may blush very easily, others less so. But when you do notice it, especially in emotionally charged moments or during playful teasing, it's a strong indicator that she's feeling something deeper. And if you're seeing both body language and flushed skin in the same interaction, that's a combination that says, I'm engaged, I'm attracted, I'm tuned in to you. Now let's move on to something even more intimate. Sign number 3, changes in breathing, the rhythm of excitement. Have you ever been close to someone really close and suddenly noticed the slight quickening of their breath? Maybe their chest rising and falling just a little faster. That, my friend, is a window into emotional and physical arousal. When a girl is aroused, her breathing often becomes more shallow, rapid, or irregular. Why? Because her sympathetic nervous system, the same one responsible for fight or flight, gets activated. Her heart starts beating faster. Oxygen demands increase, hormones surge, and just like that, her breath reflects her rising excitement. Let's break this down in a practical way. You're sitting next to her, you say something personal, vulnerable, or flirtatious. She listens and you notice her breathing shifts. Maybe it becomes slightly deeper. Maybe her chest subtly heaves as she laughs or takes in your words. Maybe you see her exhale slowly, as if trying to stay calm, while her heart's pounding a little louder. These are the moments where connection lives, and if you're paying attention, her breath can tell you everything. It's also worth noting that breathing patterns reveal emotional state. If she feels safe and relaxed, her breathing may slow down, a sign of calm intimacy. But if she feels nervous or excited, you'll notice more rapid breaths signaling emotional stimulation. The key here is context. If you're in a romantic setting, like sharing a quiet conversation in dim lighting with music playing in the background, and you notice her breathing shift as your words deepen, it's a good bet she's feeling emotionally and physically drawn to you. Here's where most men go wrong. They ignore the subtle shifts. But when you pay attention to these cues, you show emotional intelligence, and that's irresistibly attractive. Breathing is rhythm, and the rhythm of her breath becomes the rhythm of your connection. So watch it, listen to it, and respect it. Let's continue unlocking the secrets behind female arousal. You've already learned how body language flushed. Skin and breathing reveal what words can't. Now it's time to dive into two of the most overlooked yet powerful signs of desire. Sign number 4, eye dilation. The window to her desire. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. But when it comes to attraction, they're also the window to desire. When a woman is physically aroused or emotionally captivated, one of the most subtle yet powerful changes you can observe is in her pupils. They dilate, becoming wider and more open. But why does this happen biologically? Pupil dilation is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. When she feels emotionally stimulated, excited, curious, aroused, her body releases dopamine, the reward chemical. In response, her pupils expand to enhance vision and focus on what's capturing her attention. In simpler terms, if she's into you, her eyes are literally trying to drink you. And this dilation can happen in moments when you're sharing something vulnerable or meaningful. You're leaning in during a moment of tension or flirtation. You're gazing into her eyes and she doesn't look away. It's subtle. You have to be paying close attention. But if her pupils are noticeably larger, especially under normal lighting conditions, that's a strong physiological response to emotional engagement in arousal, but it doesn't end there. Her eyes don't just dilate, they start to speak. Watch for a softened open gaze. Look for moments where she holds your eyes a little longer than necessary. That's not just politeness, that's attraction, simmering beneath the surface. It's the kind of gaze that's less about listening and more about feeling. And remember, this sign often appears in harmony with others. If her eyes are dilated, her skin is flushed, and her breathing is quickening, then brother, you're not imagining the chemistry you're experiencing. Of course, not every woman reacts identically. Light conditions, emotional safety, and even shyness can affect how her eyes behave. But when this sign is present, it's like a spotlight shining right into her subconscious desire. Now let's move to something even more intimate. Sign Becker, 5, increased touch sensitivity. Her body's subtle response to contact touch is powerful. It's ancient, it's primal. And when a girl is aroused, her skin becomes more sensitive, not just emotionally but physiologically. This is the body preparing for intimacy, increasing blood flow to the surface and waking up the nerve endings. Here's what that looks like in real time. You brush your hand against her arm and she shivers just slightly. Your fingers graze her back and she leans into your touch almost instinctively. A playful nudge turns into lingering contact. These aren't coincidences, they're biological feedback loops. Her skin is responding to touch with more intensity, more pleasure, more awareness. This heightened sensitivity can often lead her to respond more quickly to even the lightest of touches, and more importantly, her emotional response to touch becomes deeper. A small affectionate gesture can spark warmth, curiosity, and even longing. And it's not just about your touch, hers too. If she starts to touch you more, resting her hand on your leg, brushing your arm, grazing your back, it can be a sign that she's feeling both comfortable and curious about taking the interaction to a more intimate level. But here's the key context. Matters a gentle caress during a heartfelt conversation carries a completely different message than a quick shoulder pat during a joke. Her reactions are guided by the emotional environment you co-create. That's why it's critical to be attuned, not just physically, but emotionally. Also remember, everyone has different comfort levels. Some women may be highly responsive to touch, while others, especially those with past trauma or anxiety, may require more emotional safety before their physical sensitivity comes alive. And that's okay. The goal isn't to rush, it's to understand when you respect her pace. When you listen with your eyes, ears, and hands, you build trust. And trust is the bedrock of all true intimacy. So there you have it. 5 powerful signs that aid a girl may be physically aroused. Body language: 2, flushed skin. 3, changes in breathing. Eye dilation. 5, increased touch sensitivity. But understanding the signs is only half the equation. The real question is, what do you do with this information? Let's talk about that. Recognizing these signs isn't about using them to manipulate or chase something that isn't freely given. It's about becoming more emotionally aware, more respectful, and more attuned to what she's feeling. Not just what you're hoping, because here's the truth. Desire without trust leads nowhere. Chemistry without consent is meaningless. When a woman shows signs of arousal, she may not even be fully conscious of them herself. These responses, flushing skin, dilated pupils, a deepening breath, often happen in real time as her emotions respond to your presence, words, and energy. But how she feels about those responses, that's what really matters. This is where emotional intelligence comes in. The ability to notice, interpret, and respond with care. That means asking questions like, is she comfortable? Is she emotionally present? Is she enjoying this connection? Or just being polite? These questions separate the average man from the wise one, from the man who knows that physical attraction is only as meaningful as the emotional space it lives in. Let's go even deeper. The psychology of emotional arousal. We tend to think of arousal as a physical process, but for many women it begins in the mind. Arousal can be sparked by feeling heard, by the warmth of a shared laugh, by the comfort of emotional safety. It's built in subtle moments, the tone of your voice, the way you look at her, like she matters, how well you listen, when she shares something vulnerable. In fact, modern psychology and research from institutions like the Kinsey Institute reveal that emotional intimacy often plays a bigger role in female arousal than appearance or physical touch. This means if you're emotionally present, if you make her feel secure, seen, and valued, you're already awakening something deeper. That's the real power here. Not just recognizing when she's aroused, but understanding how to create a space where arousal is even possible. And that brings us to a critical truth. Consent is the foundation of connection. Every signal we've discussed, body language, eye contact, breathing, touch, is just that, a signal. It's not permission. It's not a green light. It's an invitation to pay attention. That's why communication and consent aren't optional. They're the most important part of any romantic or physical interaction. So even if she's showing every sign in the D book, even if the chemistry feels electric, always ask, always check in, always listen. Are you okay with this? Does this feel good for you? Can I kiss you? These aren't mood killers. They're trust builders. They say, I see you. I respect you. I want this to be as good for you as it is for me. And that kind of presence, that kind of emotional care, that's the difference between a forgettable moment and one that truly lingers in her heart and body. We've now explored the 5 powerful signs that a girl may be physically aroused. Her body language draws her closer to you often without her realizing it. Her flushed skin reveals the excitement rising beneath the surface. Her breathing changes, becoming quicker, deeper, or even shaky. Her eyes dilate, not just to see, but because they want to absorb the moment her skin becomes more sensitive, making every touch feel electric. But here's what separates this conversation from all the shallow advice you've probably heard online. This isn't about getting a girl to be aroused. This is about recognizing when she already is and responding with maturity, respect, and emotional depth in a world full of games, manipulation, and one-size-fits. All dating advice. The truth is far more powerful. Every woman is different. What excites one may not affect another. What feels safe for one may feel overwhelming for someone else. And what turns her on most is often feeling emotionally seen, deeply heard, and fully respected. Emotional intelligence is irresistible if you truly want to build a connection that matters not just for a night, but for something more. You need to develop emotional intelligence. That means being present, observant, gentle, open to feedback, willing to ask, how are you feeling? Courageous enough to say, let me know if anything doesn't feel right. Because physical intimacy without emotional safety is empty. But when both are there, that's where the magic lives. And yes, recognizing arousal can be exciting. It's a sign that something is working, that your energy is resonating with hers, but it's not the finish line. It's just the start of a more honest, fulfilling exchange. Respect builds desire. Trust builds intimacy. Let's say that again, respect builds desire. Trust builds intimacy when she feels safe with you, when she knows that you'll honor her comfort, her signals, and her boundaries. Her body responds naturally. That's when these 5 signs of arousal show up, not because she's trying to please you, but because she actually feels free to be herself around you. That's where real intimacy begins. It's not about pressure, it's about presence. It's not about seduction, it's about connection. Final thoughts: stay curious, stay connected. So as you walk away from this video, remember, being able to recognize when a woman is aroused isn't just about attraction, it's about empathy. It's about reading the moment and showing up as the kind of man who is not just confident, but conscious of her signals, conscious of her comfort, conscious of your shared experience. Because when both people feel seen, respected, and connected, intimacy becomes effortless. So slow down, pay attention, ask questions, and above all, honor her experience. That's how you turn attraction into trust, desire into connection, and chemistry into something unforgettable. If this video helped open your eyes, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here every week with new insights into psychology, relationships, and emotional mastery. Drop a comment below. What signs have you noticed in your own experiences? And what topics should we explore next? We love hearing from you, and we're building this channel for real men who want real growth. Until next time, stay respectful, stay aware, and stay connected. Thanks for watching.